There's our disclaimer.
Hello and welcome to Roundtable. I am your Ishkote Roundtable Commissioner, Angelique Minette.
And I'm Esmeralda Bonk, and I am the Roundtable Commissioner for Wapilanaswa. Welcome to September Roundtable 2021. So please prepare yourself for the pledge, oath, and law.
Those in uniform, please salute. Those who are not, put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
with liberty and justice for all.
On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
And there we have it. So let us prepare ourselves for prayer. This is Amanda Herman, who is the committee chair for PAC 39 and Troop 40.
Hi, I'm Amanda Herman, and I am committee chair for Mokina PAC 39 and Mokina Troop 40. I'm also a member of the Rainbow Council's Diversity and Inclusion Committee. Part of the work we are doing in our committee is to feature diverse prayers that are not the standard Christian prayers that we so commonly find in our units and activities, especially in our area. Each month, a member of our committee will be sharing the prayers that we find with all of you at Roundtable. We're also creating some files that we will keep available for you to use for your units in the future if you would like to find something a little bit different. So tonight I'm going to share a Jewish prayer by Levi Yitzchak that really spoke to me over the last few weeks. So please join me in bowing your heads or doing whatever you feel most comfortable doing to show your reverence. For the world, I stand before you and before my neighbors, pardoning, forgiving, struggling to be open to all that have hurt and angered me. Be this a hurt of body or soul, of honor or property, whether they were forced to hurt me or did so willingly, whether by accident or intent, whether by word or deed, I forgive them because we are human. I'm ready to take upon myself the commandment, love your neighbor as yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda, for that wonderful prayer. So, what is diversity? It is empowering people by respecting and appreciating what makes people different. It allows for exploration of differences in a safe, positive, and nurturing environment. Understanding one another by surpassing simple tolerance to endure people who are truly value their differences. Brings a diverse set of perspective, work, and life experiences, as well as religious and cultural differences. If you or someone you know want to add your diverse perspective to Rainbow Council's Diversity Committee, please reach out to Dan Stromberg or myself. And we meet virtually on the fourth Thursday of every month. Here we have Jason King, who is going to explain to us some major holidays that may be of interest to us.
Hi everyone, my name is Jason King. I'm the Assistant Cub Master of PAC 39 in Mokina, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the Jewish high holidays of September. The first one that's already passed is Rosh Hashanah. That's from September 6th through 8th. This is the Jewish New Year in the Jewish calendar. The next one coming up is September 15th and 16th. This is Yom Kippur. It's a holy day. Usually it's the Day of Atonement. It's about the fact that all of us are not who we want to be. All of us are struggling to become better people. After this comes Sukkot. The first day it's a Jewish harvest festival. This is September 20th through the 22nd. And September 27th through the 29th is Simchat Torah. This is the end of the liturgical calendar, if you want to think of it that way, in Judaism. It's the end of the readings of the Torah. So these are the four big ones that are coming up in September. Each of the three coming up are high holidays, so that means that some people that are of the Jewish faith might not work during these. So thank you very much and have a great day.
Thank you, Jason, for some wonderful information about our Jewish brethren. All right, info minutes. That's all you, friend.
All right, hold on to your scout pant legs. while I pull this up. Da, 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 da. Here we go. Floating head time. Ta-da, floating head time. Okay. All right, welcome to your info minute. COVID restriction updates. There are no changes. It is social distancing, and you must wear a mask no matter what when you're indoors. Other than that, nothing has changed. Recharter's coming up. You guys hopefully know the drill by now, but it's time to start thinking now about recharter, not next month, not the month after that, now. Make sure that your roster on my.scouting.org, not on Scoutbook, my.scouting.org, make sure your roster there is up to date, because if you have someone that you need to add or drop, now is the time to do it, and it will make your life and my life a lot easier. Please also check the YPT status of all your members. If someone is not up to date, you cannot recharter them, and you should not be holding up your whole charter because someone won't finish YPT. So that is something that you need to address now. Just a reminder that it is $72 per youth, and then $45 per adult, plus the $3 per person that council puts on for insurance, and then a $75 for your troop. You can, using those numbers, can figure out exactly how much you're going to owe for recharter, and you could even start collecting it now so you're not asking your units to cough up the money right at Christmas time. So please start thinking about that and planning. Popcorn season is in full swing. If you need more popcorn, if you have questions or need help, please reach out to your district popcorn kernels. If you don't know who that is, then please message us and we will direct you to the right people. Your take order forms are due October 16th, and the popcorn pickup will be on November 5th. Wood badge. We had our pre-course meeting, but it's not too late to join up. We have 12 spots left for people to sign up, and it will be held next month on October 9th through 11th and 23rd through 24th. It is definitely worth it, definitely awesome. Other adult trainings coming up. We have IOLS in October as well, and it is the IOLS is the 18th and 19th. 17th, 18th, you go in 18th and 19th. Okay. It is open to any adult leader who would wish to learn camping skills, and it's a position requirement for scoutmasters and assistant scoutmasters. It's definitely worth it. You learn a lot of good stuff. It's very focused, hands-on. So it is not someone talking at you for the whole time. It's a lot of fun. Both IOLS and Blue will get canceled. Blue is for Cub Scout leaders. If nobody signs up or not enough people sign up. So if you think that you're going to sign up, don't wait. Make sure you do that now. Programming. Let's see. We have the Webelos Arrow of Light Overnight, and you're saying to yourself, why are you telling me about a Cub Scout? Well, this isn't just for Cub Scouts. This is for AOLs and Webelos, but we want troops to be there too. We want troops to be there with their scouts, because for the Cubs, the AOLs, they need to have camping time with the troop. This is a way for them to meet it. This is a recruiting opportunity for you and your troop. It is also a teaching opportunity for your scouts where they can lead some of the activities. So if you are interested in helping with that, that is on September 25th at RSR. If you're interested in camping with your unit, you can register online. We are also having an event. If you have recruited new scouts as of June 1st, the recruited scouts and the scouts that did the recruiting are invited to the a day of activities called Escape the Great Indoors at RSR. It's on Saturday, October 3rd, and it's free. There will be archery, hikes, scavenger hunts, scouting crafts, and more. And the sign up is available online for that. And Melissa just posted it in the chat box. We also have an OA Heritage Hike coming up on October 2nd. It will be at Stratton Park in Morris, and it is going to be a tour of the I&M Canal. It is open to all scouting families, so Cub Scouts, BSA, Scouts BSA, and their families. The registration is $5 and it covers a patch, and it is available online. That one's a lot of fun. They will teach you all about the history of the I&M Canal while you're on the hike. Finally, the Scouts BSA Fall Camporee has been canceled due to a scheduling conflict and a lack of volunteers. So if you were planning on going that, unfortunately, it won't be run. Next, we're talking about the Distinguished Citizen Award Dinner, which is an annual event hosted by the Rainbow Council Boy Scouts of America, which honors an individual who has provided significant and enduring contributions to the community and who embodies the principles and values of the Scouting program and thereby serves as an exemplary role model for our young people. The 2021 committee presents this award to Ed and Gloria Dollinger on October 10th at the Jacob Henry Mansion in Joliet. This event will highlight the admirable career and accomplishments of the Dollinger's impact on the community, and tickets for the event are $125. Dollingers own Dollinger's Farm in Shanahan, and they are good supporters of Scouting. Let's see. We have, what do we have? Oh, we talked about this last month, but just want to make sure you guys remember there is a new diversity, equity, and inclusion training on my.scouting.org in your training profile. It is optional, but it is very good, and I highly recommend you checking it out. And it will be added to your Scouting training record if you take it. And let's see. Recruiting flyers are available. Melissa, are the Scouts BSA ones available yet? Are there some for Scouts BSA?
Yes, I'm putting all three. So Cub Scouts, yes. Scouts BS, that's a Cub Scout one. Scouts BSA ones there are, and venturing, we are searching the store as we speak and may have something for you shortly.
Awesome. Okay, so what's awesome about these flyers is there's a little form that you can click on there, and Melissa dropped it in the chat. You click on it, fill it out with your information, and council prints them up for you, and then you can get them and give them out, and it doesn't cost you any money to do so. Dave, I'm seeing it is difficult to get volunteers to run Fall Camporee when we don't know for sure when Fall Camporee is. Yes, it is. And hopefully we're learning from that, and that will be fixed in the futures.
Well, I heard it from you, and I've heard it from a couple of people that we had to cancel Fall Camporee because lack of volunteers, but I know a lot of people were interested in and kept asking when it is and what's it going to be. So it really got canceled because of the scheduling problem, not because troops wouldn't run it.
From what I understand, from what I was told, the weekend that it was originally conflicted with another event that was being run at camp. And then because there wasn't another week scheduled, no one wanted to volunteer for it. Or they were hesitant to volunteer for it. So that is what I was told. I will pass that frustration along, and hopefully we'll have someone to run it in the spring. Let's see. Also, two other things to bring up. The fireside chat. There's going to be a fireside chat where you get to talk directly with Council's Key 3. All three of them are going to be there. And it is going to take the place of our roundtable meeting next month. We will be at camp at RSR, and you will have a chance to ask whatever question that you want to know about Scouting or about Council. We also are providing a form that you can, and as is dropping it in there now, you can ask a question anonymously through this form. We cannot see who is asking the question, and we will be able to put together a list of these questions, or you can ask them in person. And so that, you know, if you'd like to ask directly, you may do that as well. But we wanted to have multiple ways for people to respond. We do not know, we're going to try to have it recorded or possibly even broadcast live, but that's going to depend a lot on our internet connection if we're able to get that going. But I would highly recommend going, and we'll have the Evite is already out there, and we'll have a little bit more information when we get closer. Another thing that affects the Scouts BSA leaders is we have on September 18th at 9 o'clock in the morning at RSR, there is going to be a meeting with Future of Camp meeting, it is called. And it is being run by Ted and Mr. Nudera, who run summer camp. They're their summer camp committee. And they would like to know what we would like to see out of summer camp and discuss options for summer camp next year. So if you have strong feelings or you about summer camp at RSR, or if you are really wanting to be heard or needing to be heard, or you have concerns about where camp is headed or camp is going, please, please, please show up to that meeting and make sure that you are sharing your thoughts. And they're going to use the information they gather there to plan summer camp for next year. Along the same lines, there's also an advertisement out that just went out on Council's main page about summer camp staff. If you're interested in staffing, you don't have to have staffed before at summer camp, but if you are interested in, as an adult or some of your youth are interested in leading a position at summer camp, please contact using the contact information in that ad, or you can call the main office and they will direct you to the right place. If you have anything else to add to our update, please, please let us know and we will get it into the info minute. Sometimes we're adding stuff in like right before, which is why I don't have slides for the last couple items because they showed up in my box just a couple hours ago. But if you have anything to add, let us know and we'll chuck it in there.
Awesome. Moving right along. We are now on to the Scout Law. Scout Law this month is trustworthy. Do you know the story of George Washington and his father's cherry tree? It goes like this. That 60-year-old Washington damaged a cherry tree with a hatchet. When he was confronted by his father, George bravely responded, "I cannot tell a lie. I did cut it with my hatchet." Washington's father's anger at the injury to the tree was replaced by joy that his son was so honest. It's a tale that's been passed down for generations, but ironically was made up by a biographer who was short on information about Washington's early life, but took it as an opportunity to promote good values. Being trustworthy includes, but goes far beyond, just being honest. It means being dependable, being a person who lives up to their word and acts with integrity in everything they do. Pardon me. This portion of our law is why we can begin the Scout oath with "on my honor." It's no small thing to lay on the line. Someone's honor is made up of their honesty, integrity, reputation, how they treat others, and how they act when no one is looking. It's everything a person is. By giving our word at the outset of a Scout law, Scouts are promising to be guided by its ideals and be measured by how well we live up to that promise. These values are central to lessons our programs teach. Scouting builds a solid foundation of character, leadership, values, and education that stays with a child for a lifetime. So our leader award for this month is the train strip. This is a strip, and I have one right here. Right here, right there. Very proud of it. See, right there. Okay. It's presented to adults or youth who have completed training requirements in their position. It's presented to Scouts BSA youth members, mentoring youth and adults upon completion of training, and also can be worn by den chiefs who have completed their den chief training. Trainings include, but not limited to, and many of which you have heard during our info minute, is Introduction to Outdoor Leadership Skills, balloon, den chief training, introduction to leadership skills for troops, and many others. So take a look, and if you want this spiffy, spiffy patch to put right next to your position patch, check it out. and get trained. They do come in the green and the tan and the red and the tan. That also includes for the Scouts BSA Award, which I've said that if you have a den chief and has done their den chief training, they also get this patch. If your troop also does a lot of the introduction of leadership skills for troops, they also get a train strip. Membership Minute by Melissa.
Hi, everyone. I'm putting my contact info in the chat. So if you ever have anything membership related, you can reach out. So I'm Melissa Rubik, the Vice President of Membership for Rainbow Council. This month, let's talk about the invitation and application managers in my.scouting.org. So how do Scouts find your unit? For many of you, it's through these super customizable and free flyers that you're handing out, or being visible in your community, or through word of mouth. But for those lucky few, there are families searching for you on beascout.org. And because you listen to your unit commissioners, we know that your beascout.org pin is up to date. Now these families can reach out to you directly in what we call a lead. These leads represent pure gold, a proactive family looking for a unit for their son or daughter. Your unit key 3, new membership coordinator, or one of their designees should be checking this list often. Make sure you are following up. The contact phone number and email should be listed in the lead. The worst thing would be to lose one of these families by ignoring them. The system allows you to make notes to help others in your unit know the status of the lead. And once the family receives an application, don't forget to mark the lead complete. Now, what happens with those applications? Some of you are still doing paper applications for adults and youth, and that's okay. But make sure your unit key 3 are talking about the process and that all of you are on board. Online applications are often faster and less prone to errors than when creating new Scout and Leader records. Online applications can be reviewed and approved or rejected right in the application manager. For youth application, your unit key 2s have the ability to accept applications. But for adult applications, this is a job for only the charter org rep or their designee. So make sure they're on board and willing to push the button. Once approved, all applications go to council for final approval, any background checks, and updating of your unit roster. An application that is not approved only has 30 days before it will time out in the system and automatically refund any application fees. And I wanted to add, let me grab those 2 links there, some tutorials and guidebooks on how to use these systems. Please check the leads, please check the applications. There are many of them sitting. I try to reach out once a month to remind people to be responding to these people, but they're just sitting there and some have been sitting for quite a while. So please be checking your leads and your applications. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. All right, safety
Yes,
minute.
I'm sorry, Dave. Yes, council will accept electronic applications for youth and adults. And they've also updated the adult application. You can do multi-unit things. You can do transfers of adults and scouts. It's much more powerful, the online applications, but adult applications must have your charter org rep on board to push the button, or it will just sit there and die after 30 days. Go ahead.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you for clarifying, because as far as I knew, the transfers were still done by paper. So I'm glad that they're now accepting transfers.
They should be. Let me know if that's not true. I know for a fact multi-registrations can be done for free through the system. So if you have an ASM that wants to be your committee chair for your Cub Scout pack, that will also work. They can be multi-registered for free and be on both unit rosters. So I believe transfers can still work too.
Okay, awesome. Angie, you're muted, my friend.
I'm so muted. I've done that to myself twice today. All right, safety minute is transportation safety. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. First of all, if you haven't been on the training website, there is a 60-minute drive safely training, and it is 60 full minutes of driver safety. But it's important stuff that you should probably be trained on if you are taking scouts places. The other thing to know is that there is a website on scouting.org just about transportation safety. And as if you could go ahead and click on that right there. if you go to the safety moments, you can click on go ahead and go down. All these different topics here, you can pull one up and use it for a safety moment in your committee meeting. One in particular you might want to look at is driving a full-size van, because if you have a large van that you use for scouting, there are some things that they want to make sure that you are aware of, including any models that are 2005 or later. They are not allowed in scouting. Because they don't have electronic stability control. And there's a few other things like that. It is good to refresh your memory and your memory of everyone in your committee that is taking scout places. So peruse that site at your leisure and learn more about driving safely with your scouts.
All right. Still you, friend.
All right, so we're going to talk about new leader orientation. So we get every once in a while, I know it's great. Every once in a while, we get an adult who steps up and says, yes, I want to help. Put me in. And then we overwhelm them with all kinds of acronyms and trainings and things they need to do. And we tell them we need stuff done and they have no idea where to start. This is where there's this particular page on scouting.org. Oop, go back and click on that link. This is a landing page that you might not know exists, because I didn't until like last month, and then I discovered it and it's amazing. It is a troop resource page. There are two tabs. There's a tab for leader and a tab for scouts. In the tab for leader, there is pretty much a link to everything that a leader needs to have access to, all in one spot. It is like the amazing guidebook of everything scouting online, and it gets everyone up and running, because we all know that the scouting.org website is large and there is so much information, but all of it is right here, all the main links to everything. So if you are, yeah, that's a good one, the language of scouting. It tells you all those names and words and acronyms that they can look up and have access to. Pretty much everything you could think of has a nice landing page right here, and you'll want to point them there. You might actually want to go and point yourself there and check it out, because there might be resources that you are not familiar with. The new troop planning page at Troop Leader Resources, perhaps. But there's a lot of great information, and you should spend some time looking at it and then recommending it to all your new scouting leaders. That's what I got.
All right. So this is the portion of our program where we're going to be talking about some important stuff. This month, it's about den chiefs. Boy, this woman just looks so familiar. I cannot place her.
Must be my evil twin.
Maybe. Let's take a listen. If I can get it to work. There we go.
Hello, and welcome to this month's Roundtable. An essential but often overlooked part of the scouting program at the Cub Pack and troop level is the Den Chief. Not only is the Den Chief an excellent leadership opportunity for members of your troop, a well-trained Den Chief is also a much-needed assistant to the Den Leader and a remarkably effective recruitment and retention aid to the pack and troop. A trained Den Chief is much more than a helper in the room. The Den Chief is an official leadership position within the troop, and unique in that the Scout must practice leadership skills primarily through leading Cub Scout dens. A trained Den Chief is an important part of the den leadership and helps the den leader plan and run den meetings. A trained Den Chief also knows a variety of resources and games for age-appropriate Cub Scout activities and understands the difference between the Cub Scouts and the Scouts BSA program. Trained is the key word. A poorly trained Den Chief may feel lost or ineffective and not be successful in the position. This poor Scout, through no fault of their own, may unfortunately not represent Scouts BSA well, or your troop. Training is available online at the BSA Learning Center and may also be available in person at your council. The training is designed to allow the new Den Chief to become confident in their role, have fun, and be successful. Choose your Den Chief carefully. A den chief serves as a scouting role model for both Cub Scouts in the den, the pack, and the troop. The den chief should be a scout with enthusiastic scout spirit and a willingness to be helpful, cheerful, and kind. We also recommend the den chief be mature enough to understand they are an ambassador for the Scouts BSA program. The den chief promotes scouting in general, but is also a representative of your troop. When Cubs have a positive experience with your scout, they are more likely to cross over to the troop someday, probably even yours. How effectively a den chief will serve depends largely on how seriously the position is valued by the adults in both the troop and the pack. If adults rate the den chief position highly and treat the den chief as both an important member of the Cub Scout pack leadership and the troop youth leadership, the den chief will take the position more seriously. We can and should recognize our hard-working den chiefs with the Den Chief Service Award. This red, white, and blue cord worn under the left epaulette signifies that the scout has served the pack faithfully for 1 full year, attended training, understands the purposes of Cub Scouting, is a good role model, has assisted extensively in pack and den planning and activities, and has completed 4 of these additional projects in service as a den chief. Den chiefs can offer so much to both the Cub Scout and the Scouts BSA programs. They are accomplished youth leaders, role models, and excellent ambassadors of scouting. As adult leaders, it's our job to support and empower them to succeed. Please use the rest of this breakout session time to consider the questions on the screen. Thank you for all you do for scouting.
All right. So just to reiterate some of these questions, how are we currently promoting the den chief position in our troop? What can we do to make sure our den chiefs are recognized as valued leaders? How can we better communicate with our area packs about the den chief program?
All right, so who actually has den chiefs in their troop? A few of us do, yeah. Okay, so den chiefs are an important part of the program, and they're even more important now because Cub packs are really struggling. And for the first time, we've got more kids in the troop level than we have in the Cub level. And that doesn't mean good things for us as troops. That's like a year or 2 down the road. That's bad news for us as troops. So right now, den chiefs are even more important in troops than they've been historically in the past. So we've got some people with den chiefs in their troops here right now. Of the people that have den chiefs, how big a deal are we making about this position? Is this an afterthought position, or is it an important part of your elections and troop? And what do we think?
Well, I know it came from our Cub master right before he crossed over, said, I want you back as my den chief. So it was one of those, our Cub master actually recognized the qualities of the den chief and said, I want you to come back. So when he went back, when he went to the troop and spent some time there, and he approached the scoutmaster and said, hey, can I be a den chief for this pack? Because the scoutmaster also saw those qualities, and he said, go ahead. So that's how that happened. I know we've had a couple packs, Cub masters come to our troop and say, hey, we're looking for den chiefs. Who wants to? I don't think the troop saw a value, or the boys don't see how that works. But now that we have a den chief, I think it's starting to light a light bulb, especially when we tell them it's a leadership position, when they need that leadership position for advancements, especially when they're like this close to like making Eagle.
Yeah, and I think that's how some troops use the position. It's well, you haven't had a leadership position, so how about you do den chief? But is that doing the den chief position any favors?
No.
Is that doing the pack any favors?
No.
No.
because it's going through motions.
Yeah. So, what can we do to really, let's brainstorm. What can we do to really make this position important? What can we do to stress its importance to both the troop, like it's not just for the den, it's for the scout. What does it do for the scout besides give them a leadership?
I think there's a lot of good ways to sell it. I think you should be looking for those wonderful leaders that are in your troop. You don't want to just give it to anybody. But I think from a selfish membership standpoint, this is how you should be recruiting. There, again, have the flyers, pass them out, but there's not a lot of 11-year-olds looking to join scouting. So being den chiefs, having a presence, helping your Cub Scout packs, helping them succeed, you will see a direct result in your troop. So pushing it at the troop level as a recruitment tool, as a how we're going to survive tool, I think is very crucial. To how to sell it to the scouts themselves, I think, yes, checks the box for leadership. Looks great if you're trying to apply to be a camp director or camp staff at RSR and on your college resumes, and any job that you do where you can show leadership and service to youth, I think would be another great selling point.
I think recognizing them at like Court of Honors and I think or advancements, whatever you do, it just recognizing, inviting the Cub Master over and just say a few words about our den chiefs. I think if we start, I think it just kind of sits there. It's like, okay, you're a den chief, great. Now what?
Were you gonna say something?
I was gonna say they kind of get lost. It's like they're not. The Cub Scout pack kind of recognizes them, but there's no recognition from the troop side.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I have pretty strong den sheet. Well, I have a couple. I use it. I'm not that I use it, but it is very, very effective recruiting tool for us, for a female troop. I have one who, my den chief now, she is working on the red, white, and blue one, the trained den chief thing. We've been working on that, and she pretty much has everything done, but she's been a den chief now for 3 years. How that's really helped the troop is hopefully in February, we'll have 6 AOL 2s cross over with us from that den. I mean, from the beginning, they knew they were coming there. They always looked up to her. I actually had a den chief that was a female den chief for a Cub pack, and I think once there were other girls that were sisters that were not necessarily in Cubs, but they saw in action female Scouts BSA, and they said, we know, and I think that's helped a little bit of recruiting at the Cub level. I don't really let everybody that wants to be a den chief be a den chief. I mean, in our troop, when we do recognize it, it's an important thing. And I've had scouts that say, hey, I want to be a den chief. And my brothers, but they don't, I just want to go hang out with the younger kids, as opposed to, and I mean, I don't know if some of you saw, we had our own AOL camp out 2 weekends ago, and we had 6 from 3 different packs that came and joined us, and that was all planning from the den chiefs, getting people there to do that. So I mean, it works well at my troop level.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so awesome. I'm so jealous that you got so many scouts from that. It's awesome. But yeah, it looks good on your troop, and it's a great recruiting. One of the things we can do is to make a big deal about the importance of this position, and part of that can also be not saving the recognition for necessarily for a Court of Honor, but we can have them report back at meetings. Hey, I'm working with the Cub Pack. This week we did this. And it takes 2 minutes, but it gives them a way to feel like I've got a position and it has to do with my troop. I'm telling my troop what the Cub Pack is doing and keeping them connected to what's going on. So some little things that we can do to encourage them. There are in the chat, we've got Monique here talking about her son who's been a den chief and tagging along and being helpful at the Cub level. Yeah, so that's awesome because, I'm sorry, I'm reading through it. When you have a den chief that's very active in your pack, you can look at them as, like, if they're trained well, they can be an assistant. They're like an assistant den leader. They can do a full job. They can lead the activities, and then the parents can step back a little bit and the scouts can lead. And we all know that kids really find it super interesting when they've got the older kids leading instead of the adults. So that's interesting too.
I know that our den chiefs have been used where, hey, this Cub Scout wasn't here when we went over this. Can you take him off to the corner and just kind of go through it real quick with him and see if he can understand it, whether it's practice the scout oath and law, you know, simple things like that where it does give them some of that value as in, hey, I am somebody, you know, and really engages that edge method as well, you know, which we're constantly instilling in our youth.
Awesome. Hope you guys have some food for thought on that. Did anyone have anything else they'd like to add about den chiefs, or questions or comments? Okay, then we are on to the portion of the night where you get to pick all the people's brains here. If there are questions that you have about scouting in general or Rainbow Council, or you need clarification on something, now is the time to bring it up. Let's talk about it. Nobody?
Well, I'm dropping in the link for those that are interested in putting in a question for the fireside chat next month.
Yes.
I am putting the link to the Google form is again, please be, just to remind you, it is anonymous. So it is not collecting emails or names or anything. We won't even see it. All this is just a collection data pool. So we have ideas and be able to move this conversation forward when we do the fireside chat next month. So if you're interested, there's the link. So,
and again, you can ask questions there in person too. This is just another way to ask them if you need to. Easy crowd tonight.
Comments? Complaints?
Who's going to OA weekend this weekend? All right, cool. See you guys there.
Statements?
Nothing. It's quiet.
Future ideas for Roundtable?
Always. We're all ears.
We're all ears. This is we're here. Nothing? We're doing that. We're that awesome, Angie.
Or something.
Or
they don't want us to stop talking. One of the two. All right. That's all we got then.
Stop recording. They might.
Yeah. Let's stop recording.